They were here at Concordia. At the conclusion of the video, this year we are asking the current coaches of the sports involved to come and read the official citation. So you'll see current Cobber coaches come up to officially induct our student athletes into the Hall of Fame. So I'm pleased to begin our evening recognizing Angie Pfeiffer Bedard, decorated women's track and field athlete, but equally successful off the track. So let's see what Angie's track and field coaches have to say. Ben?
Made all the difference. I'd also like to extend congratulations to your Dear Angie, congratulations on your induction into the Cobber Athletic Hall of Fame. Your athletic accomplishments made this day a foregone conclusion, but the person underneath the accolades and the people around you are what made all the difference. I'd also like to extend congratulations to your parents, Brenda Hahn and Jim Pfeiffer, and to your husband, Louie, all of whom traveled far and wide to enthusiastically support you. At the beginning of Angie's sophomore year, the coaches disclosed the plan to develop the 200 meters as a marquee event, and eventually grow into a 400-meter runner as a junior and senior. At the time, she chuckled, half with uncomfortable humor and half with unsettled fear, admitting, quote, "I've only run the quarter a few times in my entire life. I think the 200 meters is long," unquote. In recalling some of the toughest workouts with her teammates, Angie described the mental and physical challenge in these terms: "Our eyes shift between exhaustion and resolution. Too tired to go on, but determined to do so." Angie recalled this battle between the tug of exhaustion and the pull of her own will by confessing, "This is the point in the workout when all you want to do is quit. Each of us is in a daze, trying to keep ourselves together. But then deep inside, the defiant voice emerges and always pushes me to do things I never thought I could. Underneath my reserved exterior lies the hunger for challenge and competition," end quote. At the end of the day, Angie valued the privilege of competing, but she loved the camaraderie with her teammates from both the women's and the men's teams. Angie often declared, "It's all about unity. Join the community." In Angie's Cobbers student athlete profile, she was asked, "Who is the person you admire most?" She replied, "Anyone who gives everything they have and never gives up." Well, Angie, you embodied that very character in your own story. In Cobber history, you'll be admired for your guts in giving it everything you have, and for your grit in having never given up. Congratulations, Angie Pfeiffer, and to your entire family on your induction into the Cobber Athletic Hall of Fame.
There are endless stories about Angie and her career at Concordia. This picture here is something that maybe she remembers. This is Angie at the 400 meters her sophomore year at the MIAC Championships at St. Olaf College. I'm going to tell you the story behind that picture and that entire day, which may be one of the greatest days in the history of MIAC track and field by a single person. When we were at the Drake Relays a couple weeks before the MIAC Championships, I talked to our top 10 or 12 kids that we had there, and I told them to win the MIAC, some of you are going to have to do a lot, more than that is reasonable, and some are going to have to put all your eggs in one basket. The next day at the Drake Relays, Angie had run a leg on a 4x4 relay, And not much later, like maybe a half hour later, she ran a leg on a 4x1 relay. And that was asking a lot of her, but she sits down next to me and she goes, "What are you doing to me, Marv?" And I said to her, "Well, Angie, do you remember what we were talking about last night?" She goes, "Oh, you wanted to see if I could do both the 400 and the 100 at Mayak." Well, that's pretty much an impossible thing to do because they're right next to each other in the schedule. So nobody does that. But Angie says to me, "Well, has anybody ever done it before?" And I go, "Well, according to my historian, Garrett Larson, no woman's ever done it." And then Angie just looks at me and she goes, "I'm going to do it." And here we are on the Saturday of the 2004 MIAC Championships at St. Olaf College, trying to dethrone the nearly unbeatable over the years St. Thomas team. And it starts at 12:30 when Angie runs the anchor leg in her 4x100 relay, and we finish fourth. Nice little warm-up race for Angie. Because at 1:55, so an hour and 25 minutes later, she's in the finals of the 400, along with 3 of her teammates, all freshmen who run on the 4x4 with her. Big event for us, and we finished first, second, 6th, and 8th, led by Angie. Not only does Angie win the race, but she breaks the MIAC record, running a 56.32 second 400. Within 10 minutes, so the very next event, she's in the starting blocks for finals of the 100 meters. Again, something nobody's ever done before. She could hardly get out of the blocks because of, she just ran a 400. But second half of that 100, she managed to keep going and actually place 7th. So she beat a few people that race. If she was fresh, she would have finished higher, but she got us a valuable 7th place. Just amazing performance considering what she'd just done 10 minutes earlier. And I'm just thinking to myself, "Oh, Angie, should just give us a few points here. I think we can win this meet yet." And not only did she get us a few points against this stacked field, she wins the 200. She trained hard. She had an amazing ability to recover, and it showed up here. She had a 25.14 second 200 and wins the 200. Now, she's not done yet. She still has the 4x4, and it's coming up within the next 50 minutes. Starting line of 4x4, there's Angie. And we knew if we win the 4x4, it doesn't matter what St. Thomas does, it doesn't matter what Gustavus does, we're going to win the MIAC Championship. The 3 freshmen ran the first 3 legs, Alyssa Bilden, Amy Ravenhorst, and Kelly Olson. They gave Angie the baton in a great position, and of course, Angie did what Angie does, competes, takes us home. We win the 4x4, she's coming down the straightaway, nobody's going to catch her. It's like Angie's victory lap into the finish line. We ran a 3:53.25, breaking the MIAC 4x400 record. And most importantly, to Angie, we won the team championship. We beat the unbeatable, the St. Thomas Tommies. And to me, that was just amazing what she did that day. And when I think of all that Angie accomplished in her career as a Cobber, in the classrooms, in every aspect of her life, on our team, it's amazing what she did. But to me, that day alone, that Saturday alone, makes her worthy to be a Cobber Hall of Famer. Congratulations to you, Angie. What a wonderful career. And thank you for very, very much for everything you've done for our program.
Pretty much 20 years ago to the day, during Angie's senior year of high school, she visited campus. And I was thinking to myself, if we can get this girl, she's going to be in the Hall of Fame. Here we are. And your citation reads like this, Angie. Angie Pfeiffer Bedard, 2006, was an NCAA Woman of the Year finalist and NCAA Postgraduate Scholarship Award winner. She was a 4-time NCAA Outdoor All-American and a 2-time NCAA Indoor All-American. She still holds the school record in the 100, the 200, and the 400 meters outdoors, and the 60 and 400 meters indoors. After earning a bachelor's degree in English writing from Concordia, Pfeiffer Bedard earned a DDS degree in 2010, Doctor of Dental Surgery, from the University of Nebraska School of Dentistry. She also spent 1 year of advanced education in general dentistry residency in San Antonio, Texas. After several years of practice in St. Cloud, she is now co-owner of Parkview Dental in Hutchinson, Minnesota. She's an active member of PEO, a women's organization providing fellowship for women and raising money for scholarships for women pursuing higher education. She's also active in River of Hope ELCA Church and is currently vice president of River Cable, the church council. Pfeiffer Bedard is married to Louis Bedard, who she met on the Concordia track and field team. They have 2 daughters, Cecilia and Eliana. In recognition of her outstanding achievements as a Cobber athlete and for setting an example of leadership and character for others to emulate, Concordia College is proud to induct Angie Pfeiffer Bedard into the Concordia Athletic Hall of Fame.
Thank you, Marvin Garrick. I don't get emotional easily, but that was a close one. It is an interesting experience to be recognized for things that you did over 15 years ago. Some days those accomplishments feel like those of someone else, yet the life lessons and experiences from my time at as a Cobber track and field athlete are with me every day and have influenced almost every aspect of my life. I often say that choosing to attend Concordia was one of the best decisions of my life, and one about which I have absolutely no regrets. As a senior in high school, I had narrowed down my college options to NDSU or Concordia. I had done college visits at both schools and talked to the coaches. That spring, NDSU hosted a meet that Concordia participated in, and my dad and I decided to do a covert visit up to watch the meet. We didn't tell either coach we were coming, and we sat very high up in the bleachers. I wasn't noticed by anyone from NDSU, but guess who did spot me from the infield and made a point to come up and talk to me? Marv Roski. I knew from that experience and others on campus that Concordia was something special, a place where each individual athlete and student was valued. I decided to attend Concordia. That journey has led me to so many wonderful opportunities and people. Concordia was a perfect fit for me. Marvin Garrick and their assistant coaches have created a program that pushes athletes to reach their athletic potential in an empowering and healthy way. Yet while athletics is important, their top priority is always each individual person. And they help us as kids grow into adults ready to be sent forth into the world. They are always there when an athlete needs them. They are willing to tell you when your body or mind needs a break and that it's okay to take that break, as well as when you need the reminder that you aren't dreaming big enough or that you'll survive during a difficult workout. I'm looking at you, Garrick. Without Cobber track and field, I would not have met my husband, Louis. We met on the team, and he convinced me he was boyfriend-worthy material on an unforgettable trip to Los Angeles with the track team in 2004. We've been together 17 years, married 13 of those. Our greatest blessings are our 2 daughters, Celia and Ellie. They are the light of our lives and greatest accomplishments. We may or may not be encouraging them to become runners. I mean, doesn't everyone have their 2-year-old practice handoffs in the front yard and encourage their 7-year-old to run 400 repeats with them? It may seem like an exaggeration, but I use the skills I learned from my time on the track and field team every day, whether it be utilizing ways to help others realize and reach their full potential, continuing to move forward when you feel like giving up, learning from failure, setting goals and diligently working towards them, and just living in this beautiful, crazy world. I got to do some amazing things during my time at Concordia. I was able to compete at national meets and win awards and be a part of amazing teams full of wonderful men and women. But what it really all comes down to is that feeling of striding down the track with a group of athletes who share a common goal. To those moments in time when it was just you and your teammates and the sound of your feet and breathing united as one. To that feeling of being a part of something bigger than yourself. It's a piece of heaven on earth. Even now, my life continues to have connections with Concordia. I currently work alongside my fellow dentist, Dr. Kent Cabal, who is himself a member of the Athletic Hall of Fame and who is here tonight. Some of our best friends in Hutchinson are also Cobber grads. When you meet a fellow Cobber, you immediately feel a connection and kinship. You don't get somewhere like this without the help of a lot of people. So thank you to my parents and step-parents who are at so many meets, driving countless hours, often sitting in the cold and rain, who encouraged me from day one when I wore shoes from the discount store and a t-shirt under my track jersey, who believed in me when our high school trained by running around a city block, and were there for me when things went well and not so well. I always knew my mom would be the first one in the stands, so she would have prime viewing of the finish, and that my dad would be bragging about me to everyone around him. I love you and am the person I am today because of you. Thank you to my brothers and extended family who support me in whatever I do. Thank you to my amazing husband, Louis, who is there for me no matter what and has always been my biggest cheerleader, who takes me at my best and my worst, who dreams big dreams with me while still enjoying life's little moments, and who is the best partner I could ask for. Thank you to my mother and father-in-law, Karen and the late Jim Bedard, for raising a son like Louis, and to Karen for being a wonderful mother-in-law. Thank you to Marv and Garrick for continuing to be role models in my life and for sharing your talents with us for so many years. Thank you also to their spouses for lending them to us. It is only now as I get older and am a mother and wife myself that I realize the sacrifices both Mary and Lisa have made for this program. Thank you to Mel Kirk, a janitor at Concordia during my time here, who always asked about my running in the halls and cheered me on. Thank you also to my high school coaches who convinced me I had the potential to be a good runner and that it wouldn't be easy, but it would always be worth it. Thank you to my best friend in high school, Carmen, who ran with me every day and taught me to believe in myself. Thank you to all of the teammates I had the honor of running with for 4 years and who continue to share their lives with me. You are my second family, and I am blessed to know you. While you may not all be on the Hall of Fame wall, you all work just as hard or harder than I did and deserve it just as much. I don't talk to all of you as much as I'd like. I know that you would be there for me, no questions asked if I called you, and that I'd do the same for you. Thank you as well to the faculty and staff at Concordia and for all of the knowledge you gave me. A special thank you to Dr. Don Duncan, with whom I worked closely as a research assistant, and who was pivotal in my nomination for the Woman of the Year Award, for teaching me that words are never neutral and that it is our duty to use our words and actions to stand up for what we believe in. And finally, I give thanks to God who has given me the opportunity to experience every beautiful, wonderful moment of this life. While I have tried to convey in this speech just how much Concordia means to me, there's truly no way to ever put into words how inextricably linked my life will forever be with my time here. My hope for my daughters and everyone is that they find a community like this one, and that they find a passion for something as wonderful as the ones I have for the sport of track and field, for Concordia College, and for the people I have met here as a result. I will close with a piece I wrote for the Concordian in my final month here in 2006, as it still sums it up so well. 4 p.m. For me, this time has been synonymous with track and field for 10 years. Each day at 4 o'clock, I pulled on sweats and a worn pair of running shoes before heading to a road, a park, or a track. Why did I forgo Oprah and various afternoon activities for so long? Why did I dedicate my heart to 4 o'clock? I did it for the feeling of accomplishment I get when rounding the corner on my 15th 300-meter repeat of the day. I did it for the joy that overcomes me when I achieve a goal and for the laughter. I even did it for the tears, for the lessons learned from failure, pain, and loss. I did it for the coaches who have taught me more than they can ever know and who have been with me at my lowest and highest moments. I did it for Garrett's jokes and Marv's one-liners. I did it for the Olson Pfeiffer track community and the Bend Islander knockoff community. I'll admit it, I did it for the free stuff at Nationals and the chance to stand next to Andrew Rock. I did it for long cover van rides at 2 a.m, ice cream pint night, and ice bath conversations. I did it for myself and my family. Because he gave me the talent, I did it for God. I did it for the feeling of flight and the memories. But most importantly, I did it for the bond that forms between men and women who have been through this experience together. For the teammates who will always understand what it means to be a Division III track and field athlete at Concordia. And I know that no matter where my life takes me, each time the clock clicks to 4 o'clock, A piece of me will be striding down a stretch of faded track. So here's to 4 o'clock.
Next up is Rob Grammer, men's hockey student athlete. If you're a Moorhead native, there are a few names in the community that bleed hockey, and Grammer is absolutely one of them. Our community has been blessed that he's made a career out of hockey, and he now serves as the executive director of Moorhead Youth Hockey. Rob's lifelong friend and teammate, as well as Rob's former coach, have some words to share about him.
Rob and I met back in elementary school in Moorhead. We grew up in Moorhead together. We were kind of connected at the hip when we still kind of are today. We played baseball, football, hockey, and we decided after high school that Concordia was a great place to get a great education, and to play hockey was our dream, and growing up is to be college hockey players. And Concordia was a great place to do that. It was a great time. We met many, many great people, had great teammates, and made a lot of great memories, and had some success along the way. Rob is a natural-born leader. He was a 3-year captain for the Cobbers, sophomore, junior, and senior year. It's kind of unheard of him as a hockey player to be a 3-year captain. That is just a great, great honor. Rob also led by example on the ice and off the ice. In the classroom, got very good grades, and then on the ice was always pushing guys to be their best, and knew he could get a little more out of everyone. When he did speak, everyone listened. Rob was just a great leader, a great teammate, and great to have on the team. Rob had some amazing stats at Concordia as a defenseman. He led the 2000 Cobbers to the MIAC championship. He was a 3-year all-MIAC player as a sophomore, junior, and senior. And his senior year, he was an All-American first-team selection, which is an amazing job. He also had 94 career points, which is just a great stat for a defenseman. Rob and his wife Lori have 3 boys, Luke, Joe, and John, and they're following in their dad's footsteps. They are also great hockey players and great kids, and look for them in the near future here on some college hockey rosters. So tonight, I'm honored to be here. I'm so thankful that Rob and I are still good friends and able to both still be back in our hometowns of Moorhead. And ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to introduce to you tonight, starting at defense, from Moorhead, Minnesota, number 33, All-American, Rob Grammer. Congrats, Rob. Well deserved. From my family to yours, from all your former teammates, great job. Congratulations.
I get the honor of speaking about Rob Grammer, an athlete that came in the winter of 1996-97 and played until 1999-2000. I got a phone call that Christmas morning, or just after Christmas morning, from Rob. When I got off of the phone, my wife wanted to know why I was so excited and jumping around. Your Christmas gifts weren't that great. And I said, no, the Christmas gifts were great, but Santa just came through with another one. Rob wants to transfer back from UND to us at Concordia College, and he wants to be in our lineup by Friday and Saturday night. We just got better. That's what I said. We just got better. And we did. We were able to get, I was able to get off of the phone with him and call Scotty in admissions, the guru of everything that we had going on. And I said, hey, Rob is thinking about transferring. Can we make this happen by Friday night? I think this was on a Monday or a Tuesday morning. I said, can we make this happen by Friday night? The second half starts. And he said, we'll see what we can do. He had applied in the fall, so it's just a matter of re-admitting. And that's what happened. And Rob was in our lineup that Saturday night, and the rest is history. When he walked into our locker room, you could tell the respect he had from the other players. And it's odd because he was a high school senior coming into a Concordia program. But we knew that he was capable of what he was going to be able to do, and it was just a matter of time that he took over a great leadership role, and it just got better and better and better as we moved along. His character, integrity, the way he goes about his business every day, it teaches everyone in your group, this is how you need to be champions. And there was no question that he was going to get us to that area at some point. We had a very, very, very strong group around him, a great cast of players that from the net out. He was the glue that solidified our defense. He solidified our power play. He solidified our penalty kill. He made life easier for a lot of the players when they were on the ice, and that is a indication of quite a special player when you're able to put him on the ice and know that you've got an extra coach out there. Almost illegal against the other teams, but when you can do it, do it. Rob, congratulations on this great honor. Couldn't be prouder. I know that the moment I saw you in a Concordia uniform, that this was a possibility, so way to go.
I'm not the current men's hockey coach, but our hockey coach is also our men's golf coach, and they are trying to win a MIAC championship right now, and having a good first day anyway. So I'm filling in, but it truly is my pleasure, Rob, to do this because all of a sudden my house became a hockey house too, and without some of your guidance, we would be totally lost. So it's my pleasure to do this for you. Rob Grammer is one of only 5 players in the history of Cobber men's hockey to earn ACHA All-American First Team honors. He was a 4-time MIAC postseason award winner, 2-year captain, and helped the Cobbers advance to the NCAA quarterfinals his senior season. After graduating from Concordia in 2000, Grammer started at anycollege.com, a small web-based company in Moorhead. He served as the director of business development until the company was sold in 2009. From there, he became director of sales for another startup in Fargo, Avenue Right, which offers a web-based media buying platform. Grammer has continued to be involved in athletics, volunteering in Moorhead Youth Hockey in a variety of roles, including coaching, program development, and serving on the board of directors. In 2015, Grammer merged his professional experience with his community involvement and became the executive director for Moorhead Youth Hockey. Grammer married his wife, Lori, shortly after graduating from Concordia. The two have lived in Moorhead ever since with their 3 boys, Luke, Joe, and John. In recognition of his outstanding achievements as a Cobber athlete and for setting an example of leadership and character for others to emulate, Concordia College is proud to induct Rob Grammer into the Concordia College Hall of Fame.
Well, I'm not going to be as good as Angie, but first off, congratulations, Jacki, Angie, Brian. Very humbling. It's quite an honor to be inducted into the Hall of Fame, and super humbling to go in with a crew like this, like the accomplishments. I'm on the football field. I'm like, I'm supposed to be out here with these guys right now? I mean, the list of accomplishments is incredible, so congratulations and kudos to you guys, and quite an honor to be going in with you. I got the call from Rachel, and it's not something you think about, right? You never think about that phone call or this moment, and so it forced me to reflect. And so I'm thinking back, like how do you anyone who has success, how do you have success? You got to have a lot of good people around you, and you got to be in a good environment. So I've got a great cast of people around me. I got my parents, right? So Bob and Kathy are sitting down here, and anyone who knows the hockey lifestyle knows you spend a lot of time on the road. It's a huge commitment from your family, from your parents, and they were there. My dad was my buddy. It sums us up the best for me, just summarizing, is peanut M&Ms and the doors. So we were traveling around northwest Minnesota. He's my coach and my dad and my biggest fan, and we'd stop at the gas station on the way out of War Road and always get peanut M&Ms, and he'd put the doors on and love you 2 times, baby. You know, rock and roll history of my dad with the cars. So, my mom ends up being my biggest critic and my biggest cheerleader. Literally, she would create cheers for the youth teams in the stands and would be cheering like loudest mom out there. And what a way to show how to support young kids, right? She supported everyone by cheering super loud. In fact, Jeremy and Josh and I, we presented her with an award as the top cheerleader one time at a banquet because she was that. She was absolutely that. And so that carried forward. My oldest son, Luke, he's sitting out here, and he starts youth hockey, and Terry and Michelle, one or both of you might remember this, but we go to Pee Wee's, and Tommy's on the team with Luke, and we go up to Roseau, and it's a big tournament. If you've never been to Roseau, I don't recommend it unless you're playing hockey. It's an amazing place, actually, a lot of history. And we're going up there, and I said, Mom, we're going to Roseau, like tournament. We got to get the cheers out, you know. And she's all right. I'll bring the duct tape. I'll bring the nuts and the bolts and the screws and the cams. We got this. We got this. So we sit down, and we got all the siblings in there, and we're orange duct tape. We're taping it up, and we're stuffing the cams full of screws and nuts and nails and whatever else. And we're out there, and we're just rattling them. And we made the most noise in the tournament without a doubt, and they have since banned noisemakers in the arena. So my mom, Dad, love you guys. Thank you so much. So got them, and then I have the brothers. I have my 2 brothers. Brian is here with his wife Jamie tonight. My brother Ben couldn't make it. They're both older than me, so I'm the third, the youngest. And we hear a lot about the importance of multi-sport athletes. In my backyard, best training ground there was, I was a multi-sport tackling dummy. No doubt about it. I got pounded, and it served me well. I didn't know. I was just the decoy on the side, but these guys brought me along. Empty lot. We actually grew up in Sabin, right down the road, just south of town, and we'd get all the neighborhood kids together, and it's 6 to 16. You need everybody, right? So I got to come along as the little guy, and for the most part, I was the decoy, but all of a sudden, once in a while, like, let's chuck it over to Rob. He's wide open over there. Let's do this. So they brought me along. I got to tag along. They pounded on me. And then, you realize in a unforeseen moment, we're in a big hockey game, and I got fortunate to play with Josh and Bear in high school, and we had a trip to the state tournament on the line, and we win. We score with the winning goal, and we're going to state. And the camera, when you watch this back, pans down, like just for no reason. They set the camera down, and you see my 2 brothers and my dad hugging and crying because we won the game to a state. And you need support like that if you want to have some success. So I certainly had it at home with my family. And then you go to my wife, Lori. So she wasn't a Cobbers, and she was a dragon. We're going to say that quietly. She was a dragon. I think I converted her through a little bit of a ceremony because on her graduation, on the way home to the reception, we stopped at Prexy's Pond, and I proposed to her. So I think somehow I merged her into a pond that way. But so we've been dating since 16, since high school. So she was with me all the way through that, and the amount of road trips she had to endure with my parents to come watch me in Waterloo, Iowa, when I was playing junior hockey, you wouldn't wish that upon anyone either. So she's been there the whole way, and she was there in 2000 in St. Paul when we stomped the Tommies, won the MIAC championship, and advanced to the NCAA tournament. So Lori's been there the whole way. Love you, babe. Thank you so much. And then she, brought me the family, the boys, Luke, and Joe's not here, but little Johnny's over there too. So you have this support unit. She also brought me a mother-in-law that's got a ton of patience. Trust me on this one, tons of patience. And then a brother-in-law, Kevin, who's here as well, and then the late father-in-law, Brian, who we're all a part of the support unit. So I got 8 minutes. Yeah, okay. Okay, so I'm just gonna. stop me or flash the light or whatever. So you have this support unit, which puts you in a great spot. Like, I had no major hurdles to overcome. I'm just put into a position to just do my thing and be successful. And then you come to Concordia, and it's absolutely no different. The environment here for a young person that wants to just aspire and dream and achieve, you get empowered here to do it. You step on campus as a student, and you know you're a part of something different. As Coach Baumgartner mentioned, I was up at North Dakota. That, you know, I took a twirl at playing at the University of North Dakota, and it wasn't working out. And so I spent some time on that campus, and when I came here, you step on campus and it's different. Like, you're a part of something different where you feel the support immediately stepping on campus. Then you get to the locker room and you've got coaches. Steve Baumgartner, Mark Rice, Jim Sella back there. No kidding, hockey coach Jim Sella. Yeah, he coached our team. And Jim wasn't a hockey player. He didn't have, I would say, the greatest skating ability, but he was out there, right? And he's doing it in one practice. Jim's struggling. It's a drill that incorporates the coach. The coach, you give him a pass, he gives it back, and Jim is struggling. And I'm kind of thinking, well, Jim, you're butchering the drill for the whole team here. Like, you got to deliver a pass. So I went over and I just kind of suggested, I said, Coach, could I replace you and maybe do your part? And he gladly stepped aside and let me do it. But that was the kind of environment I stepped into. Coach Baumgartner, Coach Rice, eventually Coach Kunka was there for a while, and then a unique opportunity to be coached by one of my best friends and teammates, that actually roommates. I mean, go down the line, I don't know, Josh, like, what other things we did together, but it was a lot. And that was the environment. Like, they took my feedback. You know, they allowed me to express my opinion on what I thought we should be doing, and sometimes they implemented it, and sometimes they rolled their eyes and thought I was crazy. But the point is, they let me express that. It empowered me to kind of explore myself as a leader, and Coach Sella was a big part of that too. There was one other Coach Sella story, and you're getting the brunt of it because you're here, so you get it. But he was going to motivate us, inspire us, and he sits us all down and brings us in a video of Lawrence Taylor. Lawrence Taylor highlights, and of course one of the greatest linebackers of all time. We were so pumped up. I skated out there and tackled the other goalie so hard. I mean, that's not what I wanted you to do, Rob. It's not. So surrounded by great people when I got here, and in the college itself. So there's things that when I was reflecting on it, like what was really prominent here that I carried with me through life, and there's kind of four things. It's show up, right? Just show up. You show up to practice, show up to class. I think there's a little bit of an issue. I don't know if it's an issue, but if you just show up, you're like 75% of the way there. Just show up, and you can be successful. The second thing is be intentional. So when you show up, if you can show up and be intentional, now you're 90% of the way there. Like, just kind of pay attention to what you're doing. Try to do it to the best of your ability. And now you got a really good recipe. And in our locker room, up above the coach's room, it said, winners make it happen, losers let it happen. And I think you think through that, okay, yeah, I'm going to make it happen. Like, every day I'm going to show up, I'm going to be intentional, I'm going to try to do the drill right, I'm going to try to get better at this. If you carry that through, then that's kind of what I've tried to do, is carry that through. If I do those two things, I may not accomplish everything I set out to accomplish, but I'm 90% of the way there. So I got those two things, and then be inclusive. And the initial prayer Rachel's saying is, you do it together. You know, the sum is, what's the whole, the sum, the parts? It's something about that, like the whole is greater than the sum of the parts. Yes, that's it. The whole is greater than the sum of the parts. And if you can be inclusive and figure out how do we engage the group so that everyone understands their value, everybody feels important, everyone has ownership in this, what you can accomplish is incredible. And so you got to be inclusive. So we're showing up, we're being intentional, we're being inclusive, and then the fourth one is act in faith. And I don't want to put off what I'm not. I'm not an overly religious guy. I'm spiritual. I'm Christian. But this shows up for me, like, very practically in life. Is I remember back in one of the, it might have been Principia, but maybe more likely one of the religion classes, and we're studying Augustine, and it was faith is belief without understanding is the basic phrase, I'm paraphrasing. And how many times that shows up in life where people are missing the boat. I believe in this whole idea. If you need to understand the outcome of what you're doing, you are setting yourself up to fail. If you believe in it and you show up and you're intentional and you don't need to know exactly what the outcome is, now you got something. And to me, that epitomizes faith. So if you act in faith, just give it your best, and come what may, you're going to end up doing great things. So those things to me were evident when I was here, and reflecting back, it's carried forward with me throughout my life, and I can't thank Concordia College enough for providing that environment and that kind of guidance for me as a student and a young human being. So again, a tremendous honor. Thank you to my family, to my coaches, to my teammates, and in Concordia College for this tremendous honor. Thank you.
Next, we have Brian Schumacher, baseball and football athlete. And boy, did I enjoy cheering for Brian when he was a Cobber. And he kept me really busy in the stands because he gave us a lot to cheer about. His former quarterback coach and lifelong friend and teammate will give us some more insight into Brian.
Brian absolutely hates to lose. And it doesn't just start and end with football and baseball, hacky sack, golf, ping pong, you name it. Brian's got to win, and you can see that fight in him. I remember going up to 8th floor and playing some PlayStation games and getting in some real heated episodes there. I remember seeing guys getting rolled across the living room during a hacky sack game. Brian is just a competitor that hates losing, and you see it in his fight. And I think that's why, as a team, we were so good together, because, our quarterback's doing this, we got to fight too. And so Brian was definitely a leader because of his disdain for losing. That intense competitive nature that Brian has didn't just come on game days. He brought it during practice. Our scout buddies right across the line from us hated to go against him because he's going to make them look bad. Who wants to look bad in front of your buddies? But Brian was definitely capable of making some people look foolish. And just think of what that equated to on Saturdays. I remember a play when Brian got caught from behind the line of scrimmage, and it didn't happen very often. And he's not a poor sport by nature, so I don't believe Brian actually threw the ball at the guy. I believe he maybe was swinging his arm and the ball just kind of slipped. But there goes the yellow flag, 15-yard penalty. But it didn't end there. The next play, the guy had to go down. Another 15-yard penalty, and shame on us. But we were sitting there at about 4th and 40. And we tried our best to get that first down, but it just didn't happen.
I'm honored to offer my words of support and praise for a truly outstanding gentleman whose induction is not only worthy by Concordia standards, but from my perspective, Brian Schumacher is one of the most significant Concordia football players we've had in the last 20 years. A distinguishing characteristic that you have for Brian Schumacher is that he is a leader. And leadership has evolved in football in a lot of different ways, and sometimes it involves sacrifice. And the story that I need to share with you is that Brian sacrificed a lot his sophomore year at Concordia. He came to us as a quarterback as a freshman, learned the ropes a little bit, and as a sophomore was not going to get much of a chance to play at quarterback, so we asked him to switch to a wide receiver. We wanted to have our top 22 players on the field during the ball game for most of the game, and it was kind of a coaching philosophy that started with Jake. And Brian was in that top 22, so we needed him to play. He offered to change positions, but he made me promise that we'd let him take quarterback the next year and try out for that position, which he did, and won that position. Won a chance to start at that position. Brian made plays when he had to. And you always look for your leaders to do that. On October 16th in 2004, when Brian was a junior, and we were playing St. John's, at St. John's in Collegeville, and they were defending national champs. It was a game we wanted to have. We had a bunch of players who were driven and were desperate for leadership and things to happen, and Brian was that man who came through for us in that game. How did he do it? Well, we trailed at halftime 13-11, and came out the third quarter, and St. John scored them on ahead 20-11. And so our fourth quarter was really on the line for us. We had to have plays come through, and leaders do that. Brian became a leader that day, probably as good a leader as we've ever had. We put together a 10-play drive with 84 yards, covering 84 yards, and ended up scoring and pulling within 2 points. Okay, time was running out. We held St. John's down, but they punted the ball down to our 12-yard line. So we had a long ways to go, a little time to do it. And as you would guess, Brian Schumacher was making plays again. Okay, we had to drive those yards, and we did. We put in 14-play drive and covered 75 yards and wound up with a 30-yard field goal. And in that, Brian carried twice for 8 yards and once for 17. Completed a 12-yard pass to Andrew Casanati, which set up the field goal, which gave us a win at 21-20. There were 16 seconds left in the ball game, and our defense held those 16 seconds, and we wound up winning the game. That promoted us on to the rest of the year. Now, the thing about leadership is that it changes, but when you're in a position to follow, you have to become, efficient at following in order to become a leader. And Brian learned that through his football days. He's a man of character, strong heart, desire. As a player, he has a lot of class. He's very dignified in how he conducts himself. He has a lot of respect for his opponents. He's a very quality person. Brian Schumacher was a very strong leader for us, and he was a winner. And somebody who wins knows what's important now, and he sets out to accomplish it, and he does it. I'm very happy to represent him.
I'll wait for Bucky to come on up here. Congratulations to all the other inductees, Angie, Rob, and it's good to see the Grammer family. Way to go, Rob, and Jacqueline too. What a wonderful accomplishment. On behalf of our football program and also our baseball program, I'm proud and honored to be standing up here with my former baseball coach too, and yours as well, Bucky Burgow, and to read the Hall of Fame citation for Brian Schumacher. He's the best quarterback I've ever coached, and he was one whale of a leader. And I'll tell you what, a young college football coach, got a chance to watch you compete every single day, and you made us all proud. And there are times today I was wishing number 18 would come back running out on that field. I'm telling you. You're something else, Brian. Love you and your family to pieces. So here we go. Brian Schumacher was named the MIAC Most Valuable Player in back-to-back seasons in 2004 and 2005. He is one of only 2 football players in the history of the MIAC to earn consecutive MVP honors. He helped the Cobbers win the MIAC championship in 2004. Schumacher was also a member of the Cobber baseball team who earned ABCA All-Region and All-MIAC honors in his junior and senior seasons. Schumacher graduated from Concordia with degrees in economics and business. He returned to his hometown in 2011, taking a position with Alaris, a financial service company. He has progressed through many roles, including retirement consultant, retirement relationship manager, and product manager. Schumacher currently belongs to the Fidelity Wealth Management Council, North Dakota Dollars for Scholars as investment chair, and has been involved in junior achievement since 2005. When he's not working, Schumacher enjoys gardening. In 2018, he earned a Master Gardener designation through North Dakota State University, which was surprisingly grueling but equally satisfying and humbling endeavor. Schumacher makes his home in Thompson, North Dakota with his wife and their 3 children. In recognition of his outstanding achievements as a Cobber athlete and for setting an example of leadership and character to others to emulate, Concordia College is proud to induct Brian Schumacher into the Concordia Athletic Hall of Fame. Congratulations.
Wow. Dee, you had to tell the story of multiple personal foul penalties in one series, didn't you? For the record, I only did one of those. But I have learned that it's always really important to keep your center very close to you at all times. And he's done a number of, he's gone above and beyond a number of times to protect me. Good afternoon. First, congratulations. Jacki, Rob, and Angie. I was fortunate enough to watch Jacki and Angie as our time here at Concordia overlapped, and I couldn't be more excited for you 3, your fellow teammates, and your coaches. Congratulations. Personally, I am beyond humbled to be here today, to represent the hundreds of Cobber football and baseball athletes that I was fortunate enough to be a teammate of. I think, as you guys have heard, nobody gets to stand here today in a team sport, and I look at football and baseball where you have 11 or 9 individuals out on the field at one given point. You're not up here if you don't have really talented teammates and really talented coaches. And you must be surrounded by those individuals that truly care about you, that love you, and that want the best for you. And I think that's one of the things that struck me as I started the endeavor of looking at where was I going to go to college, and there was always something different when I talked to Bob Kohler or I talked to Terry Herring, and it just struck me that they truly care. And what I will always share with anyone that asks is it hasn't changed. It's been 20 years and it's still the exact same way, and it's something that I'll forever remember. But we talk about surrounding yourself with tremendous coaches. And there are so many coaches that I was fortunate enough to be mentored by that are a member of the Hall of Fame here at Concordia. Whether it's TH, whether it's Bucky, Coach Hurdle, which we heard from, Coach Nick, who's out there today, Coach Kluge, and I'm sure I'm missing a few others, but I know that I will be forever grateful to have had those influences on my life, because we certainly wouldn't be here today if that wasn't the case. When we talk about support, for me, that means my family and my parents. And no one stands up here, as we said, without a tremendous amount of support. And I look at my biggest fans, whether it was elementary games, middle school games, high school, college, summer. My parents, much like many of others that we heard of today, have traveled to every part of the country to support me, to be there for me, and to set a tremendous example in my life. And that support instilled confidence in myself and the ability to tackle whatever it is that I wanted to achieve. I knew that they would support me even if I didn't always make the best decisions. I will be forever grateful for the work ethic that they have instilled in not only myself, my sister who's there, and my brother who's not able to be here today. For those that don't know, my father Tim, he farms, or had farmed, recently retired, and for him to, of all those thousands of games that I was fortunate enough to play in over many, many years, for both of my parents to miss, I can count the number of games they missed on one hand. And I think that that is just a tremendous recognition of how to work-life balance is the word that we hear so much these days. But I think that they figured it out and figured out a way to support me. It wasn't always easy, but I'm so appreciative of the work ethic and the passion that you have instilled in us children. And certainly we wouldn't be here today without it. So thank you, sincerely. I have so many great memories of my time here at Concordia. We've heard of a couple of them already, but number one is today's opponent, and obviously the outcome wasn't what we wanted. But in 2004, to be able to go down to St. John's, and it's one of the top memories I have is Brian Halverson kicking that field goal through with, 20 seconds left, 16 seconds left. That is my greatest memory at Concordia, period. And it was just such a cool experience to be able to have that happen. It had been a few years since we had won at St. John's, and so it was just a tremendous team effort. Obviously, Coach Hurdle shared a lot about that. And I do recall it being rather cold that day and fairly windy. My wife does remind me of that. But I can assure you it was a lot colder on this side. Another great memory for me is 2004. Later that season, we were fortunate enough to host a couple of playoff football games. And any chance I have, when I talk to players or have a chance to come back and talk to the team, one of my greatest sense of just accomplishment as a group was to spend Thanksgiving together, which means you were playing deep into the playoffs. And it was a tremendous thing. And we were fortunate to do that in 2004. But I specifically remember the Wartburg game. And a playoff game at the Jake is just outstanding. I can't think of anything that was more cool from an overall player perspective. But we didn't have the tremendous field that they get to play on today. So for those that have seen pictures of that game, I've got a picture D of us, all arm around each other, and my jersey is the only quasi-clean one, so thank you for that. Everybody else's jersey is black. It was a wet fall. It was muddy beyond belief at that point. But the memory that sticks out to this day, and I have no idea how it happened, but on the far sideline, right in front of the Wartburg coaches and players, Jordan Talley was lined up across from one of their wide receivers. And they threw a quick screen pass out there. And I don't know how Jordan got to full speed in 3 steps. It's probably why he was inducted into the Hall of Fame a couple of years ago. But he completely leveled the wide receiver. And he flipped him over completely. And I just remember it setting the tone. So we talk about leadership. And it was just he was a tremendous leader for us. And it set the tone. And we ended up obviously winning that game. The on-field memories, I could go on, but Rachel's probably going to kick me off the stage pretty soon, and I can tell my 3 kids are running out of steam over there. So, I'll transition to some of the memories that I have that are just more off the field and mean so much to me. And the first was the ability to play with my brother Scott. My senior year, he came in and he was a freshman. And he played football, he was a quarterback, he played baseball, so we got to spend my entire senior year together, and it's just truly one of the most remarkable experiences. I couldn't have asked for any better way to go out as a senior here at Concordia. He's chasing around Mickey and Goofy at Disney with his kids today, so he obviously isn't able to be here. And then lifelong friends. Someone like Big D back there. We don't always get to see each other or talk as much as we would like to, but there are so many lifelong friends that I was fortunate enough to make and still do have great connections with. And, TH, I'll be forever grateful. My freshman year, you partnered Blake Trenbeth and I up as roommates. And for those that don't know Blake, tremendous athlete out of Cavalier. Secretly, shout out Cavalier. And we ended up we didn't really know each other. We knew of each other, but didn't know each other. And we ended up pitching against each other in the state championship game our senior year of high school. Blake does remind me who won that game from time to time. And then we ended up playing in the Shrine game that summer before we came to school. But he's an individual that is just a special person, and I know I would have never had a chance to meet if it wouldn't have been for you. So thank you so much. And certainly not last, but certainly not least, my wife, Jenny, who is over there fending the kids with Grandma and Grandpa. Thank you. We ended up meeting each other early on in our time at Concordia, so much like some of these other stories, she's been there with me for the entire duration of everything that we've gone through, the highs, the lows, the good days, the bad days, and I just can't thank her enough. There's no one I would rather tackle this crazy zoo with than you, so thank you. To my siblings, Scott, Laura, my brother-in-law Ricky in the back, also handling another kid. Just so appreciative of your guys' relationship and involvement, and can't thank you guys enough for everything that you've done. Oliver, Everett, Eddie, who are also here, little nephews, thank you guys. Everyone here has no idea how excited all these kids were for the last 2 weeks to come to the football game, and they've been wearing their Concordia stuff every day. We had to actually pull it on Wednesday and put it through the wash and set it aside to make sure that it was clean. And I think that just a great example of how close and how important family is to me. I am beyond humbled for this award and opportunity here, and it is certainly something that I had never thought about until I did receive that phone call from Rachel, and it was a pretty good 4th of July after having that news. So thank you so much. Thank you to everyone, and have a good rest of the night.
Microphone's really high. Our last inductee of the evening is Jacki Thielen, a fierce competitor and the nicest person. The perfect combination. Jacki played a large role in propelling our volleyball program into being a national contender. Jacki's former coaches will tell us a little bit more about her.
Jacki, I'm so honored to say a few words for your Hall of Fame induction. I always remember watching you at the Perm volleyball tournament and thinking to myself, that little blocker, she's really good. So I call you and invite you to a campus visit. And in typical Jacki fashion, you said, sure, why not? I remember telling Tim, I'm not sure Jacki's even excited to even visit us. But after you visited us, you said you wanted to be a Cobber. And that was the beginning of an awesome journey, Jacki. And for you and the Cobbers volleyball program. You helped set the stage for some of our most successful years and set the bar extremely high for incoming athletes and the program. Jacki, I was so very fortunate to have the opportunity to coach you and get to know you off the court. You're such a special person, and I admire the way you always treated people with the utmost respect, and I'm honored to call you my friend. Congratulations on your induction to the Hall of Fame. Well deserved, to say the least, and God bless you.
Jacki, Barton, Theon. So many good memories. Here's a few. I remember back in the fall of 2000, my assistant Bob Jones came to me on a Monday morning and said, Tim, I saw this girl this weekend at the Perm tournament. She's not flashy, but she might be able to help us. That was Jacki Barton. So she came, and we had a real young team that first year she was there. Sometimes we started 6 freshmen. And I remember when we went to play St. Thomas, they had no clue about St. Thomas. Bob and I wouldn't let them watch the warm-ups, because we knew what that would look like. They were just hammering the ball. We went out, we beat them. Amazing. Another one that we needed to win against Augsburg, the coach there, at one of the timeouts said, you're losing to a bunch of freshmen. We ended up winning, and with Jacki's help, we ended up being part of the MIAC postseason for 17 years in a row. That was the start of it. Jackie was a 4-time first-team All-Conference, the only one in Copper volleyball history to ever do that. First All-American, a 2-time All-American, the first of 14 All-American awards. Oh, Jackie, you did so many things. I have to tell you, she had a great sense of humor, too. So one day, we on a road trip, we let the gals get some pie. Now, they couldn't eat it until after the match. And so after the match, everyone's coming out, going to get their pie. Jessica Walden, our setter, was so excited about her pie. So she went to get her pie, and it wasn't there. Where's my pie? Who took my pie? Where's my pie? Well, little beknownst to her that Jackie, along with Bob Jones, my assistant, had taken her pie and put it in the overhead compartment. And so Jess eventually got her pie, but we also got a great laugh. So Jackie, thanks for being a great person, a great player, and really setting the standard for Cobber volleyball excellence. You deserve this Hall of Fame award.
Congratulations, Jackie, and thank you so much for coming yesterday and visiting with our team. I think it helped them a lot to hear from you, having played so young and kind of rebuilding the program back then, kind of a similar place to where we are now. A lot of them talked about things that you said to them after the game, before the game, during warm-ups. They're like, did you know, and all this stuff? And I'm like, yeah. And to me, as a coach, that makes me so happy just to be building that tradition with them. I don't know if they knew a ton about you before, and so that was just really great to see. So thank you very much for sharing some of your information and experience with them. Jacqueline Barton Thielen was a 2-time All-American who helped the Cobber volleyball team win the MIAC postseason tournament in 2003 and 2004. She was a 3-time AVCA All-American honoree and is the only 4-time MIAC All-Conference award winner in the history of the program. After graduating from Concordia, Thielen started her career at Stearns Bank. While at Stearns, she held various positions within its equipment finance division before becoming the supervisor of the sales assistant and documentation department. Thielen and her husband Chad have taken over the Thielen family dairy farm, just outside of Melrose, Minnesota. Staying involved in volleyball, Thielen has coached both high school varsity volleyball and many youth volleyball programs. She currently officiates varsity matches. Thielen and her husband are parents to twins, Raymond and Adeline. In recognition of her outstanding achievements as a Cobber athlete and for setting an example of leadership and character for others to emulate, Concordia College is proud to induct Jacqueline Barton Thielen into the Concordia Athletic Hall of Fame. Congratulations.
So when Faith had asked me to speak to her team on Wednesday, speaking to 15, 20-year-olds, made me so nervous. I lost sleep. It was a lot of pressure. And then I was sitting after the game, relaxed, and then I was speaking to my roommate's husband, Coach Borman. He goes, so you're going to keep your speech down to 30 minutes? I have to give another speech. So, anyways, not a whole lot of preparation, but I got something to share, a few people to say thank you, and I appreciate the support. My volleyball journey started early. My parents played a lot of backyard volleyball, or they played different leagues and co-ed leagues, and so they always, anytime there was a sitting moment, do you guys want to go outside and pepper? Want to go around and play outside? So constantly, I think every single night for hours on end, peppering with my mom and dad. So I first want to say thank you for the support there. And then I have to give thank you to my brother who came. He was a senior when I was a senior at Concordia. And so I still remember that mom and dad came to one of my volleyball games instead of his parents' night for football. So yeah, don't forget that one. So I do have to say I appreciate the support there also. And then of course to my husband, I met him in Otto's class in high school. And let's just say that Chad is the only thing I took out of that class because I couldn't change my oil if my life depended on it. So, and along with him came the best in-laws I could have ever asked for. So supportive. So I do appreciate that also. When I came to Concordia, the first person I met, or one of the first people I met, happened to be my setter. And she, rock star setter. I could not have had any of the accolades I had if I did not have such an amazing setter. So she was just phenomenal. I got paired with the best roommate ever, Jenny Rick. And so the support that they offered just was amazing. And so I ended up rooming with that table over there. And they all showed up, and I do appreciate them so much. They came to every game, every home game with posters. They'd be sitting at the table in the kitchen making posters for us at night. So they are just phenomenal support staff there. And then coaches. Yes. Bob did mention that he called me after that Perm tournament and said, we'd like you to come to Concordia. I was like, where is Concordia? And so he got me on the hook, though. I came and visited, stepped foot on campus, and I just knew this was the place to be. And the pie was one of many, many Bob Jones, Izzy Iskowitz jokes that we got to play. So he was my partner in crime. And then Tim, the bond that I had with Tim, Coach Moser, he played piano and he sang at my wedding. So it was really special to have that figure, that parental figure almost, when you're 2 hours away from home. So that was amazing. And yes, I just want to say congrats to the other inductees. Thank you so much for selecting me to be a part of this amazing group of people, and I'm just so honored. So, thank you.
Wow, it was an impressive night. And I always leave with my heart so full. I'm always just so happy when I leave, no matter what the outcome of the rest of the day was. This is a great night. But not only did we get to recognize some really great athletes, but we recognized some really great people. And I think that's what makes our jobs here at Concordia so fun. I was definitely reminded why we do the work that we do, if I needed a reminder, right? But sometimes after the last 19 months, a reminder was a good thing. That what we can provide here is an opportunity for individuals like the 4 here today to not only participate in the sport, but to really excel at it. And so I leave with a really, really happy heart. Congratulations once again to Angie, Rob, Brian, Jackie. It has been a pleasure today to have you back on campus and to celebrate you in this way. And I hope that if you leave with one thing, that you know that Concordia College is really, really proud of you. So thank you to everybody for coming tonight. Hall of Famers, please stick around for a couple photos. And my kids always tell me that I need to end every speech with roll Cobbs. So roll Cobbs.
Thank you so much.